At this point, there's really only one way to describe where we are at this point as a football club. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time, we will be drawn in Europe's biggest club competition against one of the most historically successful clubs the continent of Europe has ever seen. All we can do is play up to that level, and there's no reason why we can't. We're going to talk about the win versus Brentford. We're going to talk about the crazy celebration that was Tuesday and advancing to the Champions League quarterfinals for the first time in 13 years. We've got a four-man band for you today. Let's get to it. Yeah, how's it? Little new intro for that rear end. You guys know who I am. Beside me, I've got the real Ryan down in the ATL. How are you, sir?
Good, great.
Below him, the OG, rocking the light pink and navy blue kit from a few years ago, which is one of my favorites, oddly enough.
You said a few years ago?
It's like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, it wasn't last year's. It was 2 years ago, wasn't it? Was it last year's third kit?
I don't know. Was it? No, it wasn't last year's, was it? Because the black one was
definitely last year.
The black one was the away.
I almost thought it was this year, but it's definitely not. It's last year. It's last year's.
I think you're wrong.
Because what?
All right, let's go.
What? So we had the black.
Oh, no. I'm thinking. No, you're right. It is last year's. I'm just like, wait a minute, because I had it when we were in Philadelphia for the Fan Fest, which was last season, but It was 2 Octobers ago. That's what's screwing me up. Anyway, OG, how are you?
Good.
All right, good. And beside him, in the bucket hat, I guess, with the little neon behind him that says "Dream" and a I don't know, what is that? A water buffalo behind you, Glenn?
What are you, the closed captions? Hi, everybody. I'm Glenn.
Yeah.
Look at that. He already has a puss on his face. I'm joking with you. Hi, everybody. I'm Glenn AFC New York. I'm on YouTube and Twitter. Anything else is a bridge too far because I'm too old. My Glenn AFC London Part 2 is coming out this weekend. And I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me, BG. Hello, real Ryan. Hello, bottom right Ryan. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm going to need you guys to do the majority of the talking because I screamed and yelled so much on Tuesday that I really don't have much of a voice. I did a number to myself too. So I'm going to ask all of you how you watched the match on Tuesday. But I'm going to go first and then I'm going to let you guys talk. But I went out to the Arsenal bar here in Pittsburgh, Cork Harbor Pub, shout out in Lawrenceville. Great time, great crowd, a lot of singing, a lot of chanting, especially at the end during the penalties. And when David Raya made the second save, I lost my shit. It's as simple as that. And I screamed my head off. I got pretty hammered on Tuesday night. I think I ate about 1.5 pounds worth of cheeseburgers because I went to a bar where it was like burger night. So you get a pint of beer and a burger and fries for $10. Sweet. And they're 1/2-pound burgers. And I got challenged to eat a double patty after I already ate one. So yeah. And it still didn't help the sobriety the next morning or the hangover. That wasn't that bad, but bad enough. But I had a good time Tuesday. Like I said, a lot of singing, a lot of chanting, a lot of yelling, and it was a good time. Glenn, how did you watch the game? Did you celebrate, or were you was your wife just constantly browbeating you with chores?
No, it wasn't that at all. For me, I know I'm not alone because I saw this in my timeline. That game was like the definition of torture. I was never happy one time during that game, except when we tied it. And, a lot of people say, well, to have that stress during a game and then the relief at the end, no, thank you. I thought we were going to win that game 4-1. I wrote that on Twitter, X. And then I followed that up with something else. And then when we got to penalty shots, I wrote on Twitter, Raya, if you get us to the next round, I will never say, quote, I like Raya, but, unquote, ever again, if you just get us through to the next round. So now I can't say that anymore. And it also, just to give you an example of how stressed I was during that game, I did something I do not do. And I'm going to speak low when I say this because the victim is just in the other room behind me. When the penalty shootout started, my 20-year-old daughter thought the game was over. They were just about to kick the first penalty, and she came down with some hair care problem. And I snapped at her. I'm like, can't you fucking see what I'm looking at? And she's like, why are you snapping at me? Is it because I'm a woman? And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
6.5 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting better with dropping F-bombs in the first 5 minutes of the show. 6.5 minutes. Just want to point that out. Anyway, continue.
My wife came out from her place of work and screamed at me, stuff I won't repeat. I apologized to my daughter, and 2 minutes into the penalty shootout, I started watching. I don't do that. I'm not like that. I keep my stress quietly, but that game brought out the worst in me. My gosh. I'm sorry. That's it. That's my story. It's lame. I know.
Real Ryan, where were you? What were you? What was the celebration like?
Yeah, normally I get to work from home on those days, but unfortunately I was in the office. So I was at my desk, and luckily I'm in the back of the office and no one can see my screen back there. But I was at my desk with my headphones on, just literally like for 2 hours plus.
Yeah, I don't think I look. I close my eyes too all the time. I just wanted to add that. I forgot that part.
It just Glenn said it perfectly. It was horrible to watch. Like that was not fun at all. I was tense and had like my hands clenched and my muscles tightened the entire time. And I did not enjoy it until Raya saved the second one. And then I finally then. So, but yeah, I'm at my desk and people in my office know that I'm Arsenal fans. So I'm an Arsenal fan, and they, peeking their head over. I'm just like, I'm like, dude, go away. Someone's like, picking up, like looking at me. I'm like, dude, go away. So yeah, not the best way to watch the game, but the result, made it all the more special. So
yeah, OG.
Yeah, I'd worked till pretty much kickoff. So I had. No, did I have it taped? I don't know. No. I went back. I watched from the beginning. I ended up catching up at halftime. Watched the second half with my wife. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get into it, but I wasn't really nervous. I wasn't anything. I was just like, it's another game. I took it as another game, and I was just like, okay, we're gonna win. Like we're gonna advance. I wasn't really worried. And then. Yeah, we went to penalty kicks, and I don't. It's funny. I always shout out my friend Connor, usually because it's for negative reasons, and shocker, it's a negative reason again. I was starting to get a little nervous, and then he texted our friend group like, "Yeah, what? Like, yeah, I'm not really that nervous. It's not going to win the Champions League anyway." And I was like, "Fuck you!" I was like, "Fuck you!" But in the same second, I'm like, "Yeah, like I don't really." That's that. It calmed my nerves. It's like, yeah, I don't know if we are gonna win. Like, whatever. Like, we might not win, and this is like a quarterfinal game or get into the quarterfinal. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not nervous. We have such a long way to go. If we lose here, we lose here. And then when I was laughing, when I was focused, honed in, and when David Raya made the first save, well, I would say most of the shootout, I kind of blacked out a little bit. And then when David Raya made the second save, I heard my wife screaming in excitement that we advanced, all this happy. And I'm like, dude, you need to chill out, like relax, stop yelling. And then I look at her.
I don't know what blackout means. I'm old. I don't know what that meant.
Yeah, cool, Glenn. I look at her. She looks at her phone, looks at me, smiles, and is laughing. And then I give her a puzzled look. And then she goes, we have neighbors here. I don't know why you're screaming like a little girl. And then I realized that it wasn't Megan that I heard screaming. I was the one that was screaming like a girl. So that was kind of funny. So yeah, I didn't really, okay, I kind of blacked out. And it's funny because I was so calm the whole game. And whenever a team I follow is in a penalty shootout, I can't handle it. Like Germany's been in a few, and I can't really deal with it. It's like the worst. I've been in a few myself, and it's just, it's not fun. I don't find it particularly fun. But it was funny because yesterday I watched the Atletico Inter Milan PK, and I was like, this is awesome. I love this. Don't you just love it? Like one team's going home, one team's advancing. And again, my wife gives me a puzzled look, and I'm like, yeah, well, none of my teams are in it. Like, I don't care. I do softly root for Inter Milan when it comes to Serie A, but like I didn't care either way. I was just like, sitting back and enjoying it. So it was very funny.
It's interesting about what your buddy Connor said, because I was talking to a guy last night, and I'm kind of like, why did I celebrate this so much? And I think it's two things. Number one, I think it's just the idea that it went to penalties. I think if we win the game in full time, or even if we win it in extra time and it doesn't go to penalties, I think it's different, because it's not, that's the sudden death feeling, right? You go to penalties, and there's going to come a moment in the penalties where it's sudden death. Now it's, you either have to score or save to win the game. And it's that hard stop. And I think in that moment, and I don't care what sport it is, it's watching American football and a game-winning field goal. Obviously in hockey, it's an overtime goal, especially in the playoffs. It's a walk-off home run in baseball. It's a last-second shot in basketball. But if we win that game, let's just say we win 2-0. So we Trossard's goal, and we score one more in regulation, and then that's it. Then when the whistle blows, it's over. And I think it's in that moment there's a sense of relief. It's the joy would have come when the second goal was scored. So to me, it's like, did I celebrate too hard for a quarterfinal win? What did we, or to advance to the quarterfinals? What did we really do here? What did we really accomplish? And the thing that we really accomplished is this: we got the monkey off our backs, right? 13 years having not qualified for the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Obviously, 7 years without Champions League football, period. The last time we were in the quarterfinals was 2010. Get that monkey off our back. But in the words of the late, great Glenn, back me up on this, Herb Brooks, great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what we've created for ourselves going forward now in the quarterfinals, is a great opportunity. And it's an opportunity to continue to write our story and just continue to build on this thing. And I said a long time ago, and when I say a long time ago in the history of us doing these shows together, I think Mikel Arteta and Edu just want to be able to look at the world and go, we're the best in the world, period. There's no club better than us. And I don't think we're there yet, but we're building to that world domination, I think is how I put it the last time I brought this up.
Domination.
So I get Connor's sentiment, But I think the way that the game ended and what it means for the club and moving forward. Because like I said in the intro, in my opening monologue, we're going to get drawn. Now it's big boy pants time. So wherever they are, dig in the closet and get your big boy pants out now, because whoever we get drawn against, like, let's go. They've been there, they've done it, and it's, it is not going to get any easier. I'll be honest with you, and I'm kind of curious to your guys' opinions. The more that I went back and looked at the first leg and the second leg, and take the referees out of it, because the referees were awful. Awful. I mean, it's amazing that they aren't English, that these were not Premier League officials. That's how bad they were in both legs. Terrible, horrible, dog shit, whatever. Insert your superlative here. Porto was probably if you ranked the teams left in the round of 16, they'd be near the bottom, if not at the bottom. But stylistically, were they not potentially one of the worst draws that we could have gotten in the round of 16?
Please let me go first. First of all, blackout is caused by either epilepsy or drinking too much. I looked it up. You know what?
I didn't tell you I wasn't drinking.
Porto style. Let me start with that. All right. I fucking hated it. It sucked so bad. But I gave them partial credit because it was working. They deserve to lose, and their manager just shut the fuck up. The other thing, as far as I'm concerned, what is it, 18 days now? This is going to be a glorious 18 days. Some of my fellow Arsenal supporters on my timeline are like doing fishing trips, looking to find the people that were shit talking about Havertz and stuff like that. But I'm not interested in people being wrong. Every Arsenal supporter is happy right now. And that's the way. It's just, this is a Nirvana point right now. Let's enjoy it. That's all.
I'm not sure that had anything to do with Porto, but anyway, okay.
I just said Porto's play was shit and the manager shut the fuck up.
Stir the pot, baby. Just stir the pot.
I seriously.
Ryan.
No, I get Your Honor, I need another 30 seconds. That fucking manager of Porto said that Arteta insulted his family. Fuck you. That's not Arteta. I don't believe you. Fucking prove it. That's not Arteta. That was 20 seconds. Go ahead.
I didn't know you knew Arteta. You should introduce me, Glenn.
Oh my God. I can't take you. You just try to fucking argue.
What did I say? What did I say? You said you knew him. I don't know. Listen.
Anyway,
nice to meet him.
Back to the question. What stylistically, Real Ryan, were Porto one of the more difficult draws that we could have gotten?
Of course. I mean, I think this is one of those ties that really shows you what the Champions League can do, especially away from home, in these European nights, because I don't think we were ready for that fist fight with them. We've always played better against teams that want to try and play us. We've always struggled with teams that don't want to play, sit in a mid to low block. And I'll give Porto credit. They executed their plan to perfection. So for what they have talent-wise and what their goals were for how they're going to play us, it was a horrible, horrible matchup. And the way that they were able to just, the dark arts, the tactics, Saka struggling against Wendell. It was a bad matchup for us. It really was. I think this is one of those things where it will be good for us having played a team like this, just in case we draw an Atleti or something like that. I think we'll be ready for not every team just wanting to open up and play the beautiful game. So horrible matchup, but I think it's actually a good thing that we scrapped and got through it, and the experience will help us as we go through, hopefully, further run here. So
yeah. OG, any thoughts on the I mean, looking back now at the two legs?
I mean, they're probably a little better than maybe Copenhagen, Real Sociedad. But yeah, no, I mean, they're a shitty Newcastle. I think that they're a little quicker than Newcastle. They're a little more physical than Newcastle. But that's how they play. And yeah, it was tough, but hopefully, good football will just always prevail. The problem is in Champions League, it's very different than Premier League. Champions League is more down to like moments and like those 5 seconds of just brilliance. And what do you know? Our 5 seconds of brilliance, the pass from Odegaard, Trossard, the finish. Who, by the way, I thought Trossard had a pretty shitty game. I didn't think he played well at all, but it didn't matter because the one thing he did right was keep us in the tie, get us the penalties, and then we proceed to win the penalties. But again, all it took was that one play, that one piece of brilliance from Odegaard, that one brilliant piece of finishing from Trossard. And yeah, I mean that's all it takes. So when you play a team like Porto is going to muck it up like that, the moments and those chances are just going to severely go down. And I'm glad we made it count when we did.
So I want to follow up on the Trossard thing because I agree, but I don't think I agree wholeheartedly. I think he had a few other moments. He just needed to be a little better. I don't think he was terrible. I don't think he had a particularly good game. But I guess let's just maybe go into who your man of the match would have been.
Ooh.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Okay, if it's someone other than the obvious, Glenn, go ahead. You raised your hand. What do you got?
I just wanted to say, because you were talking about Trossard, and then I'll tell you my man of the match is the same as everybody. I think we really missed what Martinelli gives us. This is not a knock against Trossard. I just think we really miss the quickness Martinelli gives us down the wing. That's it. Right,
yeah, real Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and I think I had texted with you guys about what we thought the lineup would be, and I think Ryan and was saying that we'll probably go the same that we've done in exchange for Trossard instead of Martinelli, and I kind of was not loving it. I don't love Trossard on the left wing. I think that there's a reason we have Martinelli, and I think his directness and speed is what Arteta wants in that position. And Trossard is an awesome player. But if you scroll through Twitter or X or whatever during the first half of that game, a lot of people that I follow, and these are Arsenal fans that I respect that follow just as much as we do, were like, dude, he's got to come off at halftime. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. He's getting bumped off the ball. His touches are a little sloppy. And then the goal comes. And you're like, well, okay, like, amazing finish, and that's what he does so well. But I won't lie to you, like, no one played amazing except for, I mean, on the field for me, I thought Odegaard was incredible, and that is ultimately my man of the match outside of Raya. But I just felt that we needed the directness, and I thought we would see Gabby Jesus play out there. Ultimately that didn't happen, but I mean, we all know Trossard can finish, and I mean, it was a beautiful finish. I mean, I gotta give it to him. It was really nice, well struck, back post. I mean, really nice. So, yeah, I mean, he's been a not love in that position. I liked it when he played the false nine, but no one was amazing, right? So I'm not gonna be upset with him that he didn't have a 10 out of 10, right? But he was okay, and then obviously he scored the goal, so I can't knock him too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought Odegaard played. Let me ask each of you this yes or no question, one word answer. Is David Raya still your man of the match if the match ends in regulation? OG?
He wasn't my man of the match, period.
I like it. Glenn, is David Raya in regulation still your man of the match? Or is someone else?
Still.
Real Ryan?
No, I mean, no, because Odegaard also had a goal that should have counted that didn't.
Yes.
So I mean, we're looking at a goal and an assist potentially So I'm not that. Yeah, it's Odegaard. So for me.
So OG, who was your man of the match then?
It was Odegaard.
Nice,
Yeah.
good call. And look, David Ryan making 2 saves and actually getting a hand on a third.
Yep.
And I mean, he really almost made 3. It's really hard to say that it's not him, but I think I think people are looking at that in a vacuum, right? Look at the entirety of the match, and I think our best player was Martin Odegaard. And 3-point sniper, I'm kind of curious, OG, as to your thoughts here, because you are not a Jorginho guy. I do want to hear what you have to say on this one, because when we got him, it was I liked the move more because I thought just veteran presence. He's going to bring some of the younger guys along. He is a very intelligent and cerebral player. Maybe, as OG, I think, said, might be the smartest player in this squad. He's not going to do wonders, but I think he's going to do enough to bring us along in the next 2 seasons. I'm telling you right now that if there's an option to extend him for a year, and I'm 100% in that camp that we extend him. But OG, your thoughts on Jorginho, please.
I mean, yeah, no, you said it. I think he's the smartest guy on the pitch. He is our.
You said that. I don't want to take credit.
Well, he is. I think he is. I mean, he's our Xhaka replacement. He's our off the pitch Xhaka replacement. He's a leader on the field. He's a leader off the field. He's bringing guys up. He's doing his coaching badges. He's constantly seen at the academy games. He's seen helping El Neni with his club. I mean, it's just he's our Xhaka replacement, and yeah, he's to be fair, he's my Xhaka replacement. I go from hating Xhaka to hating Jorginho. No, but he's great. No, he is great. He had a good game. I don't know if it was as good as what he's been doing for us the last few games. But no, he's great. I think he's especially great when we don't have Zinchenko. I think Zinchenko kind of plays his role a little bit in the attacking third and just on the attack in general. He has those passes that Jorginho has. So I think now that Zinchenko's coming back into the mix, I can see Jorginho now that Zinchenko's going to be back into the mix, I can see Jorginho kind of fading into the background a little bit because we don't really need him. We have Zinchenko, and we have the now possibility of playing Jesus and Partey, and Rice can play that 6, or Partey can play that 6. Not to say I want to see that. I mean, I do want to see that, but kind of harping on Zinchenko here, but I'm pleasantly surprised what Jorginho has brought into his team on and off the pitch, and hopefully his leadership, his mentality. Same with Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz, has been here too. And Jesus and Zinchenko can kind of carry us forward and into these survive and advance situations.
Glenn, go ahead.
I think Jorginho has been one of the more surprising storylines of this season, because there was big stretches he wasn't getting on the field. Now it feels like we can't play any of these big important games without him, which is crazy. I would have never thought we would ever be talking like we are. And I think the way our team's structured, there's a lot of protection for him with Gabriel, Saliba, Declan just mopping up, so he's not having to constantly bust a gut to get back, to run after someone, to get stuck in on a tackle. So he's able to create a tone and tenor in the midfield that I think keeps him pretty comfortable. He's one touch. He's the guy, that's putting these balls over the top, some of these through balls, lines. So he's been amazing. You couldn't tell me that I thought we'd be top of the league and going into the quarterfinals, and Thomas Partey has not contributed to that at all. So I'm shocked, but I'm so happy, because I do think he generally seems like a great guy. Everyone fucking loves him. And just his little videos that, Arsenal will put up, seems like such a great addition to the squad. Take a guy, put him under his wing, coach him, or, give him a little advice. So I have nothing but great things to say about Jorginho, and I'm so glad that we ended up doing it because I think when the rumors came out, people were like, "No, like not another Chelsea guy that's too old." And I mean, like, and it's a fair point. Like, I get it. I wasn't like, oh my God, we're getting Jorginho. I was like, I mean, okay, if Arteta wants him, then fine. But I wasn't like doing backflips about it. Now I'm over here eating crow, and every 11 that I'm starting, I'm like, yeah, I gotta have Jorginho in there. So yeah, man, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. It's a great time to have him come live because we got a lot of important games coming up, and we're gonna need him to keep this form.
Three quick things on Jorginho. First of all, Ryan, to who's down on the bottom with me here, you should have gave him more backstory because it's a testament to Jorginho how much you disliked it when we got him, and now you totally respect the guy. Yeah, that's a backstory. If there's any new listeners,
the fact that I said he was my Xhaka, do I need to really elaborate on that? I think that's enough.
Jesus Christ Almighty in heaven! I'm sorry I used your name in vain. I just was trying to give you credit. Fuck it. Jorginho, I was happy when we got him. Isn't it great when a player exceeds your expectations? Love it. And we don't miss Partey. We didn't miss Partey because Jorginho was great. And the other thing is, I don't care who's healthy and who's not. Arteta has this flowing system. Sometimes you see Odegaard back there playing DM. So there's always going to be room for Jorginho, and I'll never complain when he's in the lineup.
I'm not. I won't be shocked if Jorginho comes out of the 11 when Zinchenko comes back. But I don't know if Zinchenko gets a spot back because that's another person I think who was immense and amazing, and I think he deserves flowers. And Glenn, I know, doesn't want to give it to him. Is I thought he was so good.
Haven't you annoyed me enough?
And then you have Tomiyasu on top of that. It's I don't know. Something has to give in the offseason to have 3 stud left backs. I don't really know what we're gonna do. We have to do something. Maybe move Tomiyasu to be the backup to Ben White. It's gonna be interesting. That's all I gotta say.
I am really, really glad that you brought this up because this has been from the moment I woke up yesterday morning to now, and you bringing this up. And I think you might agree with this statement. I've never seen Zinchenko play on the right. I think Tomiyasu is 2-footed, can play both the left and the right. I think Urian Timber is 2-footed and could play on both the left.
I forgot
and
about
the
him
right.
too.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about him. Yeah,
and Kivior really sort of coming into his own as a left back, but naturally a left-sided center half. So I don't know where he fits, and I'm going to tell you right now that
who fits?
Zinchenko.
Oh, okay.
Minus Cedric. If I'm even just ranking the fullbacks, both left and right, because I wouldn't put Ben White on the left. I think Ben White is a right-sided fullback or right-sided center half, and I think Zinchenko is just a left back, period. In terms of fullbacks, I think take Cedric out of the equation. I think Zinchenko's at the bottom of the depth chart.
No. Well, I know you don't like Zinchenko, so
it's not. No. Again, not that I don't like him, but I'm watching Tuesday. And no less than probably 4 times did something happen where I'm like, it's Zinchenko. Where he's missing an assignment, where he's out of position, where he can't recover. And I know why he was brought on. I understand it. But I feel like, I've said this before, if you want him to play the role that he's playing, just put him in the midfield. Just put him in the midfield. I don't know. I mean, because that's essentially what he is. But you're asking him to play 2 roles. You want him to play.
Everyone on the pitch is playing more than one role.
But he is getting caught out. He can't recover.
Just because it says left back on the piece of paper doesn't mean.
I understand. I understand.
I don't think any of these players have positions. If you look at heat maps, all these players.
I won't disagree. But here's what I'll give you. Zinchenko is fantastic for us in terms of percentage of possession. He helps that number immensely. But I'll ask you this, and right now the proof is in the pudding. I'm not saying it's him, but the proof is in the pudding that this team scoring more goals without him in the lineup.
Well, we
are. I mean, the proof is there.
But
he played all season long up to the Dubai trip. He gets injured against Liverpool, comes off at halftime, and we go on a tear, the likes of which the Premier League had never seen.
Right.
Again,
I guess we're selling Gabby Jesus too.
We're
Put
playing
him in the boat.
Entire bottom half of the Premier League, and also we scored 1 goal against Porto over 2 legs. So it's not like we're over here beating everybody 3-0. And I'm with you. Like, I agree. Like, Zinchenko came on and he was a little shaky, but then he put that ball through to Eddie, one of the only balls that we got behind them, and slipped him in, but Eddie fell. So it's just you kind of have to take the good and the bad. And I don't think Arteta is going to be putting him 3rd or 4th on the depth chart for that position. But who do you put him ahead of? I wouldn't care if we started him. He hasn't. We brought him in cold into that game, and I'm not surprised he was rusty. But I think if he's 100% healthy, he's probably starting, and even over Kivior potentially. It just depends on who we play too. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of games. We're gonna be playing games every 3 days basically. So it's good that we have Kivior and everyone and Tommy as everyone's ready.
Yeah.
But I think if he's 100% healthy and he's up to speed, he's probably going to start. Now, I know I don't want to start him and Jorginho, so I mean that's a whole nother thing because they kind of do the same thing. But for me, I understand what you're saying. I just think Arteta pretty much has him like Zinni's his guy, by hook or by crook.
And we've seen him pull that card before with players that he just. I mean, look, Kai Havertz. He has started almost every game this season, despite the tortoise-like slow start that he had to his Arsenal career.
Right.
And Arteta stuck with him. And that's a credit to both. Arteta says, no, you're going to come good. And I'm not saying that Zinchenko, it's not going to come good. He's not having a bad season. For me, and Ryan OG thinks I hate him. I don't hate him. I was over the moon. I was over the moon when we signed him 2 summers ago. I really was. What I see from him and what I see from other players in his position, as if he's going to start as the left back, I'm looking at fullbacks. That's the part of the depth chart that he's on. He's not in the midfield depth chart. He's at the left back depth chart. We're a better team with other players in the lineup. Right now, we're a better team. I don't think the possession numbers have suffered with Zinchenko not in the line. I mean, they haven't. They just haven't. And again, if it's an Arteta's guy kind of argument, that's fine. I'm just saying what I've seen. I don't know that he walks straight back into the lineup. And I'm not sure that he's second choice if Tomiyasu is healthy.
Yeah, he's playing.
I'm not sure he's third choice if Urian Timber is healthy.
If you want to say Kivior is your guy right now, there's no way that Tommy's in front of Zinchenko, dude. There's just no way.
But we were a better team at the beginning of the season, at the very, very beginning of the season, with Tomiyasu in there as well. And even in stretches, Tomiyasu played before he got hurt, and we looked better with Tomiyasu in there than Zinchenko.
Well, it's just for me, styles make fights, right? If we're gonna have I'm then of course I think Arteta would prefer someone that is a little bit more rock solid there. But if we're gonna play a team that wants to give us all the ball and they're gonna sit back, it's nice to have a Zinchenko, someone that can break the lines and pick a pass. So that's where the difference is. I think
games. Go ahead.
Oh, is it my turn or Ryan's turn?
I thought I interrupted somebody. I thought I heard somebody jump in.
No, I just want Ryan. I'll be real quick because I'm sure you have an opinion on this. Just 2 parts, okay? First of all, I'll start with the ass kissing. We're through the next round. We haven't lost since Crystal Palace. Whoever Arteta chooses, that's fine with me. But having said that, before the Porto game, I'm like, oh, don't put Trossard there. I know he's a badass, but no, come on, put Jesus there. Why did he do that? But, I just settled back and then I was miserable for 90 plus minutes. Look, this is the fun of football. Our choices of what we would do as manager. And BG, I will say one thing about you. I don't agree with you about Zinchenko, but I do remember one point where I laughed out loud, realizing how I contradicted myself. There was a point where Zinchenko fucked up and gave the ball away, and I thought, oh, why isn't Kivior in there? Because I have been a Kivior critic. I just recently came around. So, yeah, I'll disagree.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to say I'll disagree with a lot of what Arteta does, but I do enjoy hearing your guys' opinions on who you would put in.
And look, ultimately, it's a good problem to have, right? Like the fact that we could sit here and debate something like this, and we're not, bitching about, losing and how awful we were. We're now bickering and debating over who's the best player among a litany of really, really good players.
Yeah,
like you're absolutely right.
And I can't say this. I cannot stress this enough. It's not that I think Zinchenko is not good. And I agree with Real Ryan that it's, what'd you say? Styles make fights.
Yeah.
As OG has said, horses for courses. There's definitely a spot for him here. But let me ask you this regarding Zinchenko coming up. Look at the games. I mean, I'm not even sure I could name a team in the other 7 quarterfinalists in the Champions League that I look at and I say, that's an easy game. That's an easy time. That's the best draw for us. I don't have that opinion right now. I also have to think about it a little bit. I haven't really thought much about it.
Yes.
Can I just say,
but against the team, we'll just go to our next Premier League game. Who are you starting at left back against Manchester City? Are you going to start Zinchenko?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say one thing about the Champions League. Pieces fell out. As far as the Champions League goes, I've said this several times on this show. I believe our inexperience will cost us a Champions League trophy. However, I still had the most miserable time watching that Porto game because I didn't want to lose. I got to put my earpiece back in. Go ahead, guys.
So the question still remains, do you start Zinchenko against Manchester City? Do you start Zinchenko against Chelsea? Do you start Zinchenko against a team that wants to play?
I mean, I wouldn't be nervous about it. No. I mean, obviously it depends on who's healthy, but I think we've seen now that, for the moment, Kivior hasn't done anything to lose his position. I don't think he's a complete zero in terms of being able to, build up or be, serviceable, passing the ball around. So especially since we have such a long break, I need to see what's going to happen when we're playing. We all know we can't play the same 11 until the end of the season. So, you know what I mean? Obviously, people are going to have to come in and put in a shift. So I'm thinking it'll change a lot. I think we'll have, a shorter rotation for Champions League. And I think some other people are going to have to get involved when we're in these Premier League games. But when it comes to like the important ones, like away at the Etihad, I mean, I'm assuming that we'll go with the 11 that we've been going with, just because in every game that's mattered, it's been those guys, except for Trossard. I'm assuming Martinelli will be healthy for that game. So yeah, I mean, Kivior starting for the moment, but I guess it's one of those things, like if he starts and has a good game, and then the next game it's Zinchenko, I'm not gonna be like, dude, I'm not gonna freak out. You know what I mean? Because Arteta sees something that we can exploit with him, and I'm just going to be fine with it.
OG, do you have anything?
No,
have anything?
It's kind of, I'm not mad at you or angry, but like it's kind of a shitty question because all our left backs are hurt. Like if you told me in a perfect world, everyone's healthy, everyone's been playing minutes, everyone's in that same like that uptick and same run of form, I'm playing Zinchenko against City. I'm playing Zinchenko against Chelsea. But that's not the case. Kivior's been playing. Kivior's been doing well. Zinchenko came back. He's a little rusty. He's coming back from an injury. Tomiyasu's just getting back from an injury. I won't even talk about Timber, obviously. You have to play Kivior. I think it's not even like a debate. But I don't know. I just think kind of, I don't know if I have much to say about this, but I think Zinchenko's and I don't mean to, this isn't a smudge on Ben White, who had 2 assists Tuesday against Brentford. I think he's has the most, the most goal assist contributions from a fullback in the Premier League currently at 4. Zinchenko's our best attacking fullback, and I think he's one of the best attacking fullbacks in the league. And he gives Trent definitely a run. I think he just offers more in attack, and I think considering we have the ball more, considering we want to attack more, and yes, I include City, I include Liverpool, I include Chelsea, I include everybody into this. We want to attack and go at them. I'll be honest. I do question playing Zinchenko against City, even if he was healthy and everything and that stuff. I just think having a Zinchenko play, whether you say he misses assignments or not, I don't want to debate that. But he plays left back, and Jorginho's not necessarily position, but role as to what Jorginho does for us. So having, instead of having both players, I can just have one player in Zinchenko. I'm going to always take that all day long, especially when we, more times than not, in any game we play, have higher percent possession of the ball. I'm going to take Zinchenko every time.
I feel like this is
and it's funny because I'm not even like the biggest. Oh, what's up, Fergus? Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Awesome podcast. Everyone needs to check them out.
Oh, they're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
But yeah, no, and it's funny, like even when we got Zinchenko, I'm like, oh, I know what he can do, but I was never like, I don't know. I'm weird. Like I'll just like a player just to like a player. I just was never. I liked Zinchenko, but I'm just like, whatever. Like I like Tomiyasu. I like the potential of what Julian Timber offers us. And I also prefer guys that like kind of we found that we dug up, like Kivior, like Tomiyasu. Zinchenko was found by City, so I'm just kind of like, you're like a washed up. He's not washed up, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
But no, yeah. But I like what he could do, and I know we can't debate this and we can't speak to it because we don't know. I'm very curious to see the scoreline if we had Zinchenko in the West Ham game, in the Sheffield game, in the Burnley game. I'm very curious to see how that would have turned out. That's for sure.
So you
and we're never going to find out. We're never going to know.
So you're saying you think that we would have scored more?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to argue that because I literally do not know because it can't happen.
Right.
We can't go back in time. But I think Zinchenko just, again, the way we play and what makes us so hard to play against is everybody on the pitch is doing more than one role. Everybody on the pitch is playing 2 different positions. So, I just think Zinchenko plays maybe 3. Like I think Zinchenko just has like that extra step, that extra oomph. I don't know. I don't know, but I'd rather have Zinchenko on the pitch and then have like a fully fit Partey, or like Havertz, Jesus. Like I'd rather have Zinchenko than Jorginho on the pitch. I just think Zinchenko offers more.
I want to ask a question to you 3. This is a really easy question. If it's Mo Salah coming down that wing, do you want Zinchenko or Kivior?
I mean,
that's that. What is that a stupid question? I'm sorry if that's a stupid question.
And I'll that's a dumb fucking question. How about that?
All right. Never mind. Move on. Go ahead, BG.
I'm waiting to see if OG's going to say anything else about it. That's all.
No, I think we know the. I think everyone knows the answer to that question, Glenn.
But isn't that in a manner of speaking though? Is that not exactly my point?
I think it's a strategy thing to play.
I just don't agree because in my eyes, when I think of watching us play, we're gonna have the ball. We're gonna be attacking. Like, there's gonna be times where we have to defend, But like I guess it's shout out to Gabriel and Saliba. I just trust them, and I trust Ben White, and I trust Declan Rice, and I trust. I don't trust Jorginho, but I trust a lot of other players. Martinelli, when he's healthy, he sprints back. He puts in a shift. Odegaard. I don't really.
Yeah, I think you have to take your chances on what he can do to help us create goals. I know I wouldn't love it if that was happening and he's one-on-one, and I mean we saw that literally last year on Easter what happened. So
I erased that from my memory. Thanks a lot, Top Ryan.
we know what can happen if he gets isolated in those positions, and I don't feel great about it, but like, what is he contributing the other way, which is just as important, right? So like, if you say who would you want, barreling down when Salah's there, we know the answer, but like, what's the alternative on our creation?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so if one of our left backs has the ball driving down the field against Liverpool, what left back would you want to have the ball, Glenn? Yeah. See. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wait.
I'm sorry. A thoughtful answer. You would rather have a quick answer. Okay, I got a quick.
No, I just know the answer.
I'll let you know later, but I think it thoroughly. Okay, you want a quick answer?
Think it's thorough. Think it's
really tomorrow.
All right, so Zinchenko. All right, if I change my mind, I'll let you know. I can't believe you didn't give me 2 seconds to think about it. You're just out for today, and you're very close to getting it.
Honestly, you were smoking.
I need my music again.
Anyways.
Okay, I'm
wait.
better.
Okay, wait. All right. Say the question again, OG.
What was the question? I don't even fucking remember.
About which left back would I want? Are we?
No,
you
split it. Glenn said, "Who would I want defending against Mo Salah coming down the left?" I guess the right in that case. And then my question would be the inverse. What would be the inverse of that? If you had to pick a left back to have the ball driving down the left,
for us.
For us. Yeah, for us. I know you're gonna say something different. You're not gonna say I know you're not, just because you're gonna be that guy because you hate
Zinchenko wouldn't be in a left back position in your scenario.
No. See, I didn't. Okay. My first iteration of the question didn't say on the left hand side. My first iteration which left back would you want to have the ball at his feet going attacking? I didn't say it on the left hand side. Just take that out. I don't want you to answer. What I'm going to do is this. We're going to do this next time me and Tanner hang out, whenever that is, years from now, decades from now, it doesn't matter. We're going to get nice and pissed. We're going to get nice and drunk, and I'm going to have him just power rank all the Arsenal players. Just from dislike to like, not even necessarily like the best to the worst, like skill wise, just like
players that I like. No, wait.
Most.
Who I don't dislike.
I know. He gets so bad. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Look. I've said before, and we're gonna move on after this.
Yeah, please.
I've said before. Zinchenko slows us down. He just does.
And Jorginho, why doesn't Jorginho slow us down?
He gets the ball away from his foot. He slows us down, but he gets the ball off his foot. Zinchenko will literally stand on the ball and look around. Can somebody give me a coffee over here?
Man.
I would love. I am not.
He plays brilliant passes, and he has fantastic vision. Probably some of the best vision on the club. I would put him in the air of Odegaard and Jorginho in terms of his vision when it comes to passing. He's very up there. But in terms of building up play, and again, proof is in the pudding. You look back to what we did pre-Dubai with him in the lineup and what we did after when he was hurt.
Exactly. Thank you, Ryan. He knows what I'm about to say. I don't give a flying. It's not. It's one of two things. It's either it's Jorginho or Zinchenko. No, I just think it's Dubai. I think we came back from Dubai. We're a different team. I think if we came back from Dubai, Zinchenko was fully healthy. Zinchenko's playing. I think we're seeing the same results, if not better. I don't think it's Jorginho's making us. Okay, you didn't say this. There we go. Love that. Shout out to nephew. No, so now you got me confused, nephew. what was I saying? Yeah, you're saying, oh, we're playing so well because of Jorginho, not Zinchenko. I think what Ryan was going to say with the Dubai thing, I think it's just Dubai. I think you can chalk it up to, I think we're all playing better. And why are we all? It's the common denominator. The common denominator is we're all playing better. Every player on the pitch playing better. Thank you.
Don't disagree. I'm playing devil's advocate by saying this, but the
devil can lick my balls.
But the proof is there. I'm just saying, you look at it and you say, who didn't play?
You're right. Dubai didn't work for it. Dubai was great to us. You're right. Move on. You're right.
Yeah,
Dubai was great.
I could go down this, but like we were still creating a ton of chances before Dubai. We just weren't fucking finishing.
Yeah.
And then is
that Zinchenko's fault?
It's not because Zinchenko wasn't there that we all of a sudden started putting the ball in the back of the net. It's like our guys.
Are we playing?
And I agree. We were slower, but I just think getting healthy. But I don't. That's not Zinchenko. And I said this.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's his fault. But I feel like
you kind of are.
But it's no. Okay. Because I could say the same thing about Gabriel Jesus. I could say the same thing about him. I can say the same thing about Tomiyasu because he hasn't played since the Asian Cup, right? No, because none of them have played. Right? I mean, they've all been hurt. So it's not a, I don't want to say a common denominator thing. Anyway, what I do want to see, and I mean this, I really do want to see him come into the lineup because I want to see what we look like with him back in the lineup, given the way that we've been playing. The Brentford game notwithstanding, that's probably the worst game that we've played this calendar year on Saturday against Brentford. That was, we were just not on it. And as I watched the game, and I did go back and I actually did watch the replay. But as I'm watching it, just one of those, like, I have a tendency as I'm watching my favorite teams, baseball, hockey, Arsenal, when it comes to proper football, and just certain things that my team is doing, they just seem off. You know what I mean? Like the passes aren't there. Or the pass is there, but the first touch is lousy. And I just kind of felt like that's where we were on Saturday against Brentford. We just kind of weren't up to pace with the game there. So given the last few results, is there anything at all to be worried about when, and I think it's inevitable that there's going to be a little bit of doubt that creeps in because of everything, because of what we did to West Ham and what we did to Sheffield and what we did to Palace and Newcastle, and the list goes on. Are you at all worried seeing that Brentford performance, or is it a one-off?
Where'd the other Ryan go?
He said he has to move.
Oh, okay.
I think that's so funny. Glenn is the person that's asking where the other person left that just randomly left. I think that's kind of funny.
I was looking down at something and I looked up and he was gone. Since it's
now you know how we feel when we podcast with you.
It's 5 o'clock Eastern time, so I will answer your question and then shut the F up again. I think we're at a good point right now. I'm really, really happy. I think this is a nirvana point, as I said earlier, in the Arsenal season. And I just got to say this, and this is with just love to you guys and to Ryan, who disappeared. I have watched a bunch of our talented fellow Gooners. Hi, Ryan. A bunch of our talented fellow Gooners shows since we beat Porto. And never once in all those shows I watched did I hear them yelling at each other. So congratulations, guys. You found a way to yell with a 9 or 10 game winning streak and moving on to the next round. You found a way to yell at each other. Be happy, folks. It's a good time. Even the Arteta out people are pretending that they never said that. So, now I will listen and shut the F up.
I was gonna answer your question, PG, but I don't remember what it was because Glenn went on some rant about arguing. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
You see the rudeness? Everybody get around who's watching.
What? I'm rude. I
chill out. Chill out.
I acknowledge I wasn't paying attention.
You never do. Are you at all concerned after the Brentford match?
Not even a little bit. It's funny. I should have preferenced by saying
preface.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the word is. I should have said Porto played like Brentford, but I said they played like Newcastle way too time. That's Brentford. I give Thomas Frank a lot of credit. I think he's a great manager. I don't know how much longer he's going to be at Brentford for. I hope his next job is a bigger, better team. I don't know how you compare that, but I think he's just an awesome manager. He gets it. He knew how to play against us, and he chose. He had everything in place. I thought what did help him a little bit was their front two is good. Wiesa is a very underrated Premier League player. He's a very good player. Ivan Toney is a player that we're looking at. So I mean, obviously we like him. Obviously he's a pretty good guy in the Premier League, a pretty good player. Since a good guy, because I don't know if he's a good guy. But yeah, they knew how to play against us, and they did very well, and they did their homework. And I don't know if Thomas Frank, had this marked on his calendar from the first week of the Premier League, and was just studying us the entire time, dropping games that he probably should have been picking up if he wants to stay in the Premier League, although they probably will. They really played us well. They know how to play us. They played like old school Burnley. And then when they tied it up 1-1, they went to Newcastle. They went to Porto, I'll say. They went to prime Porto. Everyone's got a cramp. Everyone's hurt. I don't know if I've seen that many different players on one team on the ground needing medical treatment in one game. It was pretty impressive, I must say, to Brentford. But yeah, I mean, they exposed it,
I just want to say one thing. Every time I see Thomas Frank, he looks like someone that played Doctor Who to me. That's it. That's all I want to
say.
Real Ryan?
No, I'm not worried, man. It's not always going to be pretty, So I think especially playing against a Brentford team that's well coached, well structured. They put a game plan out there. They know what they want to do. So it's not always we're not going to blow everyone away in the Premier League all the time, even if it's not, just because we're not playing City or we're not playing Liverpool, doesn't mean it should be 5-0 every time. Like Brentford has shown that they can be a good team and they can put, plan together. And this is, I mean, I know the players have changed and they, I know they had a lot of injuries, but like Brentford's the team that has given, the big boys the most trouble over the past couple of years. So I'm good with it, by hook or by crook, you just got to get it done. And I mean, I actually liked that game. I know it wasn't pretty, but like I want.
Oh shit! Sorry.
That way. So even though it wasn't the best.
Wait, where did Glenn go? Where did he go?
Yeah, even though it wasn't the best performance, like I can still appreciate us of getting those done, because I feel like even last year, these are games we're dropping points, right? And we're not letting it happen as often. So. Performance maybe not be great, but I think for experience-wise and just gutting these out, it's a good thing.
I actually had the same thought that it's like, okay, maybe we needed to get punched in the mouth. Maybe after the run of 6, 5, 4, 6, whatever, the run was of goals scored, I feel like we needed that reality check a little bit, coming up, especially against City.
We don't want to get punched in the mouth by City and being like, whoa, we're beating teams 5-0. Like, what's going on? Like,
right. And all of a sudden,
I agree. I'm kind of glad it happened against Brentford.
So okay, let's get it cleaned up, because it was far from perfect. It was far from perfect. And you're right, we're dropping points in that game a year or two ago. Well, a year ago, we dropped points. We tied them 1-1. And so yeah, we dropped points just as of a year ago in a game like that. So I think it's good, to get kind of smacked like that. Still win the game, which is great, and get all 3 points. But it's nice to, it's not, I shouldn't say it's nice. It's healthy and constructive to take that, get the 3 points, but have a lot to talk about afterward.
Well, and I don't want to forget this part either. You just reminded me, but if Havertz scores that one-on-one that he tries to clip, he gets clipped.
Yeah.
Just goes wide. It's 2-0 then. Who knows what's happening if it's it could have been another 4-0 because then now Brentford really has to come for us. But what happens next, 20 minutes later, is the ball gets scuffed into the back of our net, and now it's 1-1 at halftime, and they have something to fight for. So it's just, it's fine margins, you know what I mean? But it happened how it happened, but it's just like, we could have been a Havertz goal away from maybe it being another 2-3, 4-0, we never know.
True. So. Yeah, you never know. But, I do think it like I said, I think it's constructive to come away from a game like that with all 3 points, but I think Arteta would have a lot to talk about in that game afterward.
Those are the best ones. Yep, totally.
Yeah. Where you're going to learn something. You look at Sheffield United and you say you're 5-0 up at halftime. You're 4-0 up in the first 20 minutes of the game,
right?
25 minutes of the game. What's there to talk about? You're going out there virtually in the second half. You're going out there for a training session. Now it's move the ball around. Let's practice passing. You're not going to practice defense because you don't want to give them the ball. But what do you glean from a match like that? Same with I don't want to say Newcastle, but I mean, Burnley, West Ham. What do you take from those? As a manager, what do you take from those? Are almost the games that you are really, really bad in, and you just take the tape and there's nothing we're going to take from this. Throw it in the trash. Get rid of it.
Right.
Even the really bad games that you have, and you say, what could we have done better? The answer is everything. You guys couldn't tie your shoes before this game. So, we're not going to take anything from this. We're going to ignore this. It's there. It's, it's on tape, but we're just throwing that tape in the ocean and forgetting about it. What else we got, fellas? I do want to go into the Champions League draw.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning a little bit. I do want to get, if you have an opinion, I would like to get it, but before we look ahead, is there anything else that we want to look back on?
No, I mean, I'm good, bro. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm just so happy and just relieved that we are through, and that we have a little bit of. I feel like I don't love these international breaks, and like I still think I'd like to keep playing. I mean, it's a long time to be off, especially that Chelsea game getting rescheduled. So I'm hoping that just like we just find out that everyone is healthy when we're back, and hopefully fingers crossed that everyone that did go on an international break. It's good. Obviously, fucking City is already doing the dark arts with De Bruyne, and he's hurt, so he's not gonna go with Belgium.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to start doing that a little bit more, especially now that we're at like the business end of the season. I don't want anyone pulling up or anything in these stupid fucking international games. So that's really the only thing that I'm worried about just right now. But in terms of like what has progressed, previously, I'm so happy for everybody, and it's just such a good thing for the project to get through. It wasn't the right time. This team can't be going down to Porto here, so thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah. OG, before we look ahead?
No. I think Ryan put it pretty on point.
Yeah. So we didn't do headlines at the beginning. And I think I would like to do them now, sort of not as a final thought, but kind of like, just, okay, we've got a big break coming up. So the headline at this point of the season, looking ahead at the break, no, I shouldn't say looking ahead at the break, but knowing that the break is coming up, what would the headlines for us, considering everything that we've just, the Brentford obviously advancing now, the quarterfinal, what's the headline at this stage of the season for us? Not necessarily looking back, but perhaps looking forward in a summation of where we are.
That's tough. It's like, I don't want to make this like a rambling thing, but I was just kind of thinking about like experience for this young team, and just for the Porto one, what I had, I was like, Arsenal emerged victorious in European back alley brawl, because I think that's not what we've been prepared for, are these fist fights, and I think that us having to go through it is gonna be so huge for the rest of our season, because this is a 3-way title. Like, every game is gonna be an absolute scrap. And then obviously whoever we draw, like you mentioned, is going to be, we're talking about one of the best teams in the world. The 8 that we have is incredible. That I look at it, I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like, City, Madrid, PSG, Bayern, like, it's such a who's who of the world of soccer or football. So yeah, that's my main thing. It's not like a headline, but it's just more of a thought that, like, I'm so glad that, like, we went through what we went through, and I think that experience will help us tremendously, because this is still such a young team. Like, no one's used to this, and it's going to serve us well. And that to me has been the most important part, after ripping off 7 games in a row, beating everybody's ass. Then we got checked a little bit, and I think it came at a good time. We got through it, and it'll be huge for us.
Yeah, OG.
My headline was more really for the Brentford game, the Porto game. I guess we could kind of definitely. I don't really want to talk about VAR, but here we are. I don't want to talk too much about it, but my headline is we watch our football in color now. Or we could say we play our football in color now, whichever one you guys would like. There's been a few interesting debates around different chat rooms as far as Arsenal, as far as City, Liverpool, even us against Porto, just about the certain instances that have gone on in the past week. So you talk about everyone says, oh, Kai Havertz shouldn't be on the pitch to score the goal against Brentford. He should have had a second yellow. He should have got a yellow for diving in the box. It's gone. We talk about Liverpool City, Doku, high boot to the chest, stoppage time. Where's the penalty? And then you talk kind of just overarching over 2 legs. Kind of talk about Newcastle too, but the Porto game. They're averaging 50 minutes of actual game time. They like to slow games down, and they'll ticky-tack all day long. Football is evolving. Football is evolving now, and I think the hierarchies, the referees association, I don't even know what you call it, FA, right? FA, I don't know. They need to kind of like take a look, and I think a lot of rules need to be rewritten. I think a lot of policies need to be updated and amended, redacted. I don't know what you do. And I'll try to be quick, and I'll break things down kind of quick. But the Havertz thing, is it a penalty? No, but there is contact, and a lot of times, it's black or white. And this is where the color comes in. Everyone says, "Oh, it's black or white." If there's contact, it's a foul. If there's no contact, it's a dive and it's a yellow card. I think that there are plays that are just in the middle. There's the gray area. There's a color area that, like, it's not black or white. I believe there was contact on Kai Havertz, but I don't believe that should be awarded as a penalty. So there goes that. Liverpool Man City game. And I don't like this, but you have to kind of look at it from a bigger picture. And, like, that's tough because a foul or a penalty can happen from minute 0 to stoppage time to extra time. There's so many variables that go into play, and it's so tough to, like, nail something down as being black or white. I lean more. At first, when I first saw, I'm like, that's a penalty all day long. Why has that not been checked? Or I guess it was checked, but I think it should have been checked a little quicker. A little longer. Excuse me. I don't understand what's going on. Like, I was kind of like, I shouldn't say freaking out, because but I was like, that's bizarre. Doku almost took his head off. was a little lower. It was probably like
he could have killed him.
Yeah.
sternum area.
Was saying.
But then, and it was funny because they brought Mike Dean on to do like, oh, like Mike Dean, what do you think? Is it a penalty? And this was before VAR even came back with their decision. And Mike Dean's like, yeah, I think it's a penalty. Gives this little gobbledygook referee bullshit talk. VAR comes back and goes, nope, not a penalty. It's I forget what the VAR said. They said it was a natural coming together.
Yeah,
something like that. Didn't know that that's wild. And then immediately Mike Dean changes his tune and goes, oh well, yeah, no, they got it right. It's just a natural coming together, happens all the time in football. But you just whatever. And it's funny because I still think that's a penalty, but in the same respect, like, do Liverpool deserve 3 points and City deserves 0 points because of that? And you're just like, I don't agree. I don't think so. I don't think that's how it goes. In stoppage time, to decide a game like that from that play, I don't. And again, I don't think that's enough. I think it's a penalty, but enough to decide a game. That literally that penalty would have decided the game. Yeah. I mean, I guess you would have needed Liverpool to score the penalty, obviously, but I mean, we all know that. I mean, I guess we all don't know, but the percentage of scoring a penalty is pretty high.
Pretty high.
It's tough. And then you look at games with Porto, and then you look not even games. You look at the way Arsenal play. You look at the way Porto plays. You look at the way Newcastle plays. Just they don't want to play football. They want to play. People say anti-football. And should that be allowed? I mean, they're not really breaking any rules, but the stats are there. They're only playing around 50, 60 minutes of actual football. I don't know. I think this needs to be something. I don't even know. I don't know what you do, how you go about doing it. But to me, as somebody, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm not saying I'm not, but I'm a football fan. I've been playing it, since I was 3 years old. I've been watching it before Arsenal. I want to watch as much football as I can. I want to enjoy football. The way Porto Newcastle play don't excite me. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't bring viewers in. It's the people that don't watch football and say, oh, it's a 0-0, people flop it on the ground, boring. They don't even play a full 90 minutes. I mean, the people that talk shit about football or soccer, those are the people that are like, oh, see, they watch Porto, they watch you guys. Oh, see, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think teams are evolving. Play styles are evolving. I kind of taking Porto out of this. I'm kind of was more focusing on the 2 penalties. But I don't know. I just think that times need updating. Things need to evolve. In society, we're constantly evolving. Talking about things now wouldn't be a thought, 20, 30 years ago and even longer. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring that up as my headline because I thought, at least those, the Porto game too is still definitely a talking point, but it was those 2 instances for me, I thought were very interesting. And I've noticed it a lot this season, whether I'm watching Arsenal or another Premier League team. There's a lot of interesting decisions that VAR has had to make where is it a foul? Yeah, but it's in the box. But it's not enough for a penalty. Well, no, if it's a foul in the box, it's a penalty.
Right.
A plus B, or I guess no, 1 + 1 is 2. But I think football is evolving, and I think rules and policies need to evolve with it.
Well said, man. I agree.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is just for the Havertz thing. Like, we're gonna throw a guy off of the field because of that. Like, he definitely got hit. He got hit high. He more got like a hip, and maybe he drug a foot. That shit that Harry Kane's been doing for years. We're not sending people off for that. You know what I mean? Whatever, not a penalty, fine. I don't understand why everyone wanted him to get a yellow card. It wasn't simulation. It wasn't like he didn't get touched at all. He got bumped. He got hit in the hip. and drug a leg, whatever, cool. I mean, don't call it, it's fine. Everyone's freaking out that he should have been sent off, and I honestly didn't understand it then, and still after a couple days since, I don't understand. I guess for me, I think Andrew from the Arscast, who always says this, like, I always put myself in the other shoe. If Ivan Toney did that, would I be screaming and yelling that I wanted him getting sent off? Probably. But I would be fine if they didn't call it. I wouldn't have been freaking out, like I'm seeing on Twitter, for days and days and days. And it's annoying because it takes away from what we did in that game, because that's all anyone wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
it's the same thing they're doing.
It's funny enough, it's still being talked about. And one more thing, I just to cut you off really quick. And it made me think of it when you said, "Oh, Ivy Tony did it." And that's another thing I think VAR needs to do. I think they need to change it to VAR. I think that if Kai deserved that yellow, VAR should be like, "Hey, dude, he dove. He needs a yellow." I think second yellows need to be looked at. And I think, and I think if a situation like, let's say Kai wasn't on a yellow at that time, I think he deserves a yellow. And if he deserved, I think if he deserved the yellow, I think he should be able to get the yellow.
Right.
A lot of times, these players are just, it's just not matching up. And I think VAR should be able to deal with yellows, second yellows. Because like you said, if it's on the other foot, if Tony did dive, I mean, yeah, I would definitely be like, yeah, he dove, give me yellow. But VAR should be able to come in and be like, yeah, here's a yellow. So like, I thought it was very funny too how like everyone's still bitching about it, but it's like VAR can't do that. VAR can't tell the ref, was it Robert Jones? Give him a yellow. He dove. That's definitely the ref. That's at the referee's discretion. So. Yeah.
And the biggest thing there is, why doesn't the on-field official go to the monitor on the sideline and look back at it? And there should be a conversation between them. They have to both be watching it. Here's the problem among a litany of others with VARs. There's no communication. The on-field official misses a call, goes to VAR. VAR says, nope, this is what we see. This is what we see. How do you see it? Looking at the same thing now, how do you see it? Let's go back and look at it together and communicate and come up with what's the answer. And that would eliminate all of this. The VAR guys don't want to overshadow the guy on the field. Right. Automatically. This should not even be an option that there's no communication unless it is.
They communicate. They're just, the ref isn't obviously looking at it.
Not looking at it. Right. Yeah. I mean, unless it is blatantly obvious that, hey, this happened, you missed it, it's overturned, move on. Like, we're looking at it right now. It's like, you're going to see the same thing. But if it's a subjective call, then they all need to look at it. And like, offside isn't subjective, right? I mean, it shouldn't be subjective. Offside is offside. So I don't think the on-field official needs to go to the monitor and look at it to see, is it offside? They can look at that eye in the sky and say, okay, we're making the call, he's offside. But you're talking about reviewing a yellow card or potentially, handing out a yellow card and things like that. And I agree that they should be able to go back and say, you know what? Yeah, this is a yellow card offense. Off you go. But if it's a subjective call, the on-field official has to go right to the monitor. And I've said this before, but it's the conspiracy theorist in me that just says they don't do it. And if you were to say, why not? Why do you not do this? There's no good answer. The answer is this: because we can control the outcome of games from up above better than you can control them from down here. So you just avoid the monitor so that we can leave that air of, oh, well, it just came from the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So
well, that's the problem. And the last time I didn't really want this to be a full blown VAR thing, but the problem is the refs let calls go because they expect VAR to pick it up. It's like, well, I'm gonna let it go because if I really fucked up, if there's really something there, VAR is gonna bail me out. It's okay. But then on the other side, the man behind the curtain is like, well, we don't want to. I don't want
to overshadow you.
I don't want to overshadow my buddy Robert Jones.
Right.
I don't want to get involved here. I don't want to be the bad guy. So it's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe. It's crazy. Things just they need to change, and they need to. I mean, it's not for me, at least for my headline and for what I really wanted to kind of hit the nail on the head with. It's not so much that VAR needs to change. Well, it does, but that's not really what I was kind of getting at. But it's just more of like football needs to adapt, and it's not even VAR. It's just I think it's in general. I think the rules need to adapt, the refs need to adapt, and I think it just makes for just a better game overall for the spectators, for the players. And spectators and players.
Well said. And look, we could do a VAR show, right? We could do a 2-hour-long.
Please don't do. Please no. Yeah. Please no. No.
My headline is very simple, and quite frankly, it's the title of this episode today. We're playing with the big boys now. I thought I had it on there, but I don't. That's why I put the picture up. But when we look at everything coming up here, we're now back where we want to be. I hesitate to say belong. That sounds entitled, but I think we've earned it. And we have to continue to go out and earn it. And we are certainly going to do that in the upcoming month with trip to the Etihad. Who knows who we're going to draw in the Champions League. We've got to go away to the Scumbags and play up there. We had an away trip to the Molyneux to play Wolves. That's probably going to get moved as well. But at the end of the day, the headline is we're playing with the big boys now. Not that we weren't, but we're in the deep end of the pool now, right, fellas?
Real quick, one word answer from both of you. One team, who do you want to draw?
Dortmund.
Okay. PG.
Paris.
Ah, damn it, that was mine. I want Paris.
I want PSG.
I think PSG's art. Funny enough, Elliot quickly said he wants Real Madrid because it's like if either we're here or we're not. Give us the hardest test now. Let us know now. I don't hate that answer, but if I want to go easy, I think the easiest. I don't care about Mbappe. I think if the easiest team left right now is PSG. I think Dortmund's close behind, but I think PSG's easiest team left.
I think Dortmund are so. I think
playing in Germany, I think will be rough. I think playing in Dortmund, that's a hard place to play. I'd rather go to Paris.
Yeah. That's it. I think those are final thoughts. We're at an hour and a half. Real Ryan, I know you've got to run, so we are going to wrap up. If you need to get out of here, go ahead, because I'm just going to do the closing thoughts here and thank in the chat and what have you. So celebration police showed up. Hopefully we're not in too much trouble. Hopefully that's just a monitoring situation. I think we're okay. We didn't celebrate.
He thought we were celebrating, but we were fighting. We were yelling at each other, not yelling in excitement.
Thank goodness they didn't see me on Tuesday, because I definitely would have. I definitely would have probably gotten arrested there for that one. So, but Guns and Yellow Rivets, Fergus, thanks for being out there. 3-point sniper. Bronx Gunner was in there. My brother Chris was in there. And shout out to my nephew Cohen for making the 7th grade soccer team at school. That's fantastic. So, a lot of views on Twitter today. Thank you guys all very much. If you're watching live and made it this far, we really appreciate it. And if you are catching the replay, we thank you very much for that as well. Be sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave us a thumbs up, because legends do that. And you're all legends, right? The real Ryan did have to duck out. But yeah, make sure you smash that like button. As Mark Goldbridge says, you're all legends. Legends, smash the like button. So make sure you do that. And leave us a comment down below if you do watch the replay. Let us know what you thought. It has been good footy talk. That's it for us. We're going to get out of here. See you on the other side.